1 minute, perfectly at 4 p.m. So it's great to see such a diverse crowd of people from all around the world, always fascinating. Once again, we at Fashionablyin, we organize fashion and lifestyle events, trade events, B2B events. Uh, Obviously, we used to do them physically before in London. Sadly, because of Corona, cross fingers, we'll be starting our physical events again soon. Uh, so it's been a transition for us recently, moving into completely virtual, which has been kind of exciting. But also, since the world is moving virtual, we're seeing a lot of traction now, which is very what's this called, encouraging. So let's just get on with it. Basically, at Fashionablyin, we want people to connect with each other. We want people to make business contacts. All our events are always free. We never charge for any of our events, but we obviously make money by charging for our services, which later on, if any of you are interested, would happily explain everything to you. So today, our talk is more every week, every few weeks, we choose a different subject. You know, this week it's jewelry. You know, high end, low end, costume, the full jewelry market. We're going to talk, and our main speaker is Mr. Philip Spencer. You know, he's Philip is based in the UK and runs a company called London Day. I mean, he's going to explain everything more, and then we're going to have some questions. Please feel free to raise your hand, ask anything, no formalities. This is completely casual. The more encouragement and the more interaction we have with each of you guys, everyone will benefit, because uh, today business is global. Whatever you say, everything is from all parts of the world, and we hope that we can facilitate and connect everyone. So thank you, Philip. I'm gonna hand it over to you now. Why don't you start with your introduction? Then other people can speak, raise their hand and answer, and then I'll also ask you a bunch of questions. Is that all right?
Certainly, that sounds good. Okay, so yeah, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me today. It's a great pleasure to be here, and it's very interesting that you mentioned about the international nature of your audience. That's certainly the nature of my business. We're a fine jeweler based in Hatton Garden in London, which is the main sort of jewelry district of central London. We focus primarily on ethically sourced coloured gemstones. In particular Colombian emeralds. So we have a subsidiary which is based in Bogota in Colombia, and from there we source, cut, polish fine emeralds, and we also manufacture emerald and gold jewelry in our workshop there. That is then exported to both the UK and around the world. And we're looking to really grow our global audience. We currently employ around 10 people across the two locations. We've been established now for 7 years. We've won a number of industry awards, most recently the National Association of Jeweller Awards 2018. And we're also a finalist in the Retail Jeweller Awards in the category of Ethical Jewelry Provider of the Year. So that's really the cornerstone of what we do, and that our main focus is on that transparency, on consolidation of the supply line, so that we can ensure we're getting good true value for money, but also that environmental standards, social standards in terms of workers' welfare, rates of pay, etc., are all factored in along the entire length of our supply line from mine to retail market. And our plans for the future, we are expanding. We've recently been fundraising across a couple of instruments, a debt instrument and an equity instrument, in both the UK and internationally. And we're looking to expand our footprint. We're eyeing up potential acquisitions and office openings in Singapore and Dubai in the coming months and years. So we're looking to build that international focus and really build a brand that people can associate with ethical sourcing good value for money and fine jewelry and very high quality product.
Just to interrupt you over there, when you say ethical sourcing, right? Can you elaborate more on your idea of ethical? Because today I think people are extremely confused on what is ethical and what is not ethical, and sometimes just saying the word ethical is something that helps them maybe sell their product more. So what is your take on that?
Yes, I think you're absolutely correct to raise that point. What we refer to in the UK as greenwashing, which is to present yourself as being an organisation with strong green credentials, just for the sake of marketing, is certainly an obstacle really to what we're trying to achieve. So what we regard as ethical sourcing means basically transparency. So right back to the mine of origin, to the very point of origin where the stone is won from the ground, that we know exactly where that stone's come from and exactly what principles have been applied to it along that entire journey, and we can then with certainty say that we know the journey this stone has been on, and along the way, by our standards and values, people have been paid correctly, health and safety considerations have been applied, and environmental considerations have been applied. Obviously, working with dynamite and various other noxious substances can be very bad for the environment. So there's a number of facets to the ethical sphere. Yeah, I think the main point is the accountability and the traceability and transparency, so that people can actually essentially judge for themselves. That we can demonstrate that we understand the process that an item's been on, and then we can demonstrate that to other people, and they can really form their own judgment, and they can decide whether they think it's an ethical process or not. I think that's the key to it. It's that transparency.
What about, do you think blockchain is the future when it comes to transparency and basically going from where it was sourced and the different processes that it went through till it finally reached the customer? Is that what you see as the future?
I think blockchain certainly has a role to play. I think that it's quite some way off being the norm in our industry, and but it certainly has a great deal of promise. I think it has been embraced more so. We focus more on coloured gemstones, and the coloured gemstone market is a much smaller market than the diamond market. Blockchain, I know, has been put to good use in the diamond sector, but it's only just starting to become a factor in coloured stone production. And I think in years to come, it will have a profound impact on the industry for the better.
I'm just gonna now ask the audience. Does anybody want to ask a question or want to have more inputs on a specific topic that Phil was speaking on? Just to move a little bit to the audience, Smart Edge team, Dolly, I see you're there, right?
Hi. Yes, I'm there very much.
So Phil was just mentioning that about blockchain and how it is going to be to some extent connected with the jewelry industry. Since you're in technology, what is your take on that?
See, blockchain definitely is going to be very, very effective. And I think for jewelry, there are multiple platforms today available which support blockchain and support the transparency and supply chain issues, especially not only just for ethical sourcing, but also for the originality. That means whether it is authentic or not. So this is something that is going to definitely help the industry to source as well as really be very sure about the authenticity of this thing. So blockchain as a platform is something which has been very well accepted in the jewelry market because of the high value product. The other area in which blockchain has really seen a lot in the fashion is the sneakers market. That is basically the different kinds of shoes, especially the high-end shoes. menswear mostly, not the women's wear so much, but the men prefer this thing. So there are, to my knowledge, a couple of public blockchains which are available uh, in these two areas, which have really taken off ground. For the other fashion elements, I don't think that the adoption has been really good of blockchain, except for some of the brands. Some brands have really deployed, especially the clothing brands. But in general, I think the best acceptability has been, to my knowledge, in the jewelry and the sneakers market.
So just moving back to Phil. So just want to ask two questions. So what are your markets right now currently? Where are you selling currently? Is it just the UK or are you selling globally?
No, we're selling globally. So actually, in the coloured stone market, Europe's actually a comparatively small market in comparison with the Far East and the USA. Actually, our biggest target market is actually North America and the Far East. Although obviously we are based in London, yeah, the fastest growing market is actually the Asian market.
So if you were looking to expand more right now, which is the markets that you would want to focus on?
We're looking in particular at Singapore and Dubai as potential sites for future acquisition and office sales office opening. So we feel that those are probably the regions where you're going to see the biggest growth. Although North America currently has the biggest consumption of coloured stones, I think the fastest growth is occurring in the Middle East and in the Asia Pacific region.
Now we're gonna touch a lot of topics today, which I've got noted down. But I just think that our, our audience has been awfully quiet. I've never really had a webinar where there's not been any questions. So does anyone over here want to ask Phil anything, so then we can move on to the different subjects? Maybe give your 2 bits, on a specific topic that we just spoke about. Or maybe introduce yourself. Maybe Lorena, I can see you here. Where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Colombia. I'm a jewelry designer, and my market is been in the United States for 15 years, and I'm trying to reconnect online now.
Okay, great. And what type of jewelry are you selling, and at what price range?
My price range, I sell to retailers, and my price range is about $40 a piece. We use natural materials and sterling silver. Is designer jewelry, but on a very affordable price range.
And so you said you sell mainly to the American market?
Yeah, boutiques. Mainly independent retailers in New York, Washington, D.C., San Francisco, Minneapolis.
And so how does it work? Just for some knowledge for people and everyone, just maybe some things that you could share with us. When you sell to these retailers, what is the average markup or suggested markup that they keep? So say you sell them something at $100, how much would they sell that for?
They sell it, it's usually 2.5 or 2, it's 100, so they would sell it for 200 or 250. It depends, but usually is double that the markup.
And Phil, what do you have to say about the markups the stores keep?
Yeah, I would say that we follow a very similar model ourselves. So we generally work on a 50% margin or 100% markup. But I know that some brands have come into a lot of scrutiny. In particular, some of the major brands, because they've been marking up by up to 500%. And potentially sort of exploiting consumers to some degree. So I think there's again another issue of transparency there, that a lot of the big players have actually been essentially mis-selling or certainly exploiting their customer base by overcharging in essence.
And one more thing, do you like Phil and Lorena, I want to ask both of you this question. Do you sell via sales agents? Is it something that you follow? And what are the commissions that you give sales agents? Because I'm just looking around here and I see quite a few sales agents who have joined the webinar, and also Fashionably, in our company, we connect sales agents with companies. So if you go through a sales agent's route, what is the percentage that you offer them?
Typically, we've used agents before, and typically around about 10%. It all depends on volume that they put through. But yeah, usually between 5 and 10%.
And Lorena, is that something similar?
Yeah, I never done it. I always did it myself personally in New York. So I never had a sales agent. I would be happy to have it, but I never had an agreement with anyone that actually works.
So another question that I have for both of you is, so I've spoken to a lot of stores, mainly in New York, like mainly in America and something, and they have something called a consignment model, which is like a sale or return, and stuff that does not sell, they return it to the vendor.
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys do, or is it an outright sale that they do with the brands?
For us,
I have done it. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, for us personally, no, we've never done that, but it's something that we'd be open to if somebody had a particular need for it. But yeah, it's not something we've done before.
Yeah, I had done it on. It's not good. I don't like it because it's complicated. It's very complicated in terms of, I mean, the management on the business is complicated basically because of that. And it's not that successful. I don't know why. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No,
Yeah, it's complicated.
I agree with you. I think the sale or return model is very flawed, because if someone doesn't buy your product, they don't commit to your product, so they don't value your product. So it's a full chain. And then so many times I've spoken to stores which are keeping products which are on a sale or return or a consignment model, and sometimes they have not even showcased it because it's just in the back. Because
Agree.
So these are just a few questions I had. So now, just getting back to the audience, Miss Janet, are you there? Is it something that you would? Hi, how are you?
Thank you. Yeah.
So are you in the jewelry business? Can you tell us something more about yourself?
Well, I was in the jewelry business. I was always a journalist, and then for many years, about 20 years, I had young designers jewelry, which I sold. We had 3 shops in London, in Soho and Covent Garden and King's Road. So it was one of the first shops really selling young designers.
Prime real estate, yeah.
And we were actually successful. And ever since then, I've just reverted. I've been writing about other things as well, but mainly jewelry. And I've written for a long time, until the pandemic happened, for Jewelry Focus, which is one of the trade magazines that goes to the UK trade magazine that goes to retailers in this country and so on, because I'd always been a retailer and a journalist, so it was a good thing to do. So I still do write, and I've also worked quite a lot with young designers in and when they leave college and so on, about actually engaging with retailers and actually selling their work, as opposed to just designing lovely things but not knowing how to market them or anything.
And it's just a quick question. Oh, sorry, did I interrupt anybody? Does anyone want to say something?
No.
So I was just going to say briefly there, Janet. We're actually looking for a collaboration at the moment with some young jewelry designers. So that's something that's actually of interest to us.
Yeah,
that's something, an avenue that we'd be quite interested in pursuing, actually.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are, and also there is a great keenness at the moment. I mean, I'm quite into trends and so on. There is a lot of them want to use gemstones and so on, because it is, customers love them, actually, I think, especially at this moment. They're very popular in the UK. I don't know, not everywhere. I think.
So Janet, just one quick question. When you were selling, you said you were selling another brand's jewelry, is that right?
Well, there were lots of, yes, designers, really, individual designers as opposed to big brands.
How did that model work? I just want to understand so people can understand, like, were you paid a commission on your sales, or was it target based, or was it a retainer that they paid you, just to understand?
Well, actually, it was done. I started off actually in the first place buying and selling, but we did actually do it. You just trashed the idea of sale or return, but in fact we did do it on sale or return. And I have to say we did it very quickly and very successfully, and we didn't keep anything that we didn't think.
Don't get me wrong. Sale or return can work, but if you have a trusted partner and a close relationship.
I mean, you had to be trusted, and also I think you had to keep very close tabs on everything, and certainly only deal with what you knew you would be able to sell. Although some things we did have as kind of interesting as well, which did sell, but probably less frequently than lots and lots of small earrings or something. But as long as you did it efficiently, and certainly you wouldn't want to keep stock that nobody was going to buy. So, and you had to keep the people up to date with what you were doing, and really sort of treat them like your children in a way. Really look after them and nurture them, and give lots of advice on trends and what people were buying and not buying, and just general, like the quality of the fittings they used, or whatever. It was quite a learning process for them as well.
So
some of them quite
well
known now. So, yeah.
So just moving to the audience, Vicky, I see you here. Vicky was here. He came a little earlier and told us a little about his product. Vicky, why don't you tell us more about yourself and what are you doing and how are you looking at your business?
Okay, good evening, you guys. I come from Thailand. I'm the only Burmese amber importer in Thailand. And right now I have some difficult time explaining to my customer how they should not compare and do some comparison between the Baltic amber price and Burmese amber price, because we are only natural ones, and the cost is quite slightly higher than the Baltic amber.
Is your product,
right
are you selling jewelry, or are you selling just stones?
I sell both rough stones and the polishing and cut Burmese amber.
And you import products to Thailand? Thailand's mainly your market?
Thailand, mainly my market, just only the prayer beads, because we are Buddhism, right? So that's why I sell prayer beads to monks and to people who are religions. But for the Spain and UAE, in some countries, I sell rough stones in much lower prices in comparison to my polished ones. Yeah. Okay. Right now, I would like to do some marketing penetration to some foreign countries, rather than just in the some country that some big company from Western countries, they never put deposit. And when the product is delivered to my country already, is in the middle of the shipping out from my country, they cancel right away. Normally, I don't do this type of a business model, but they insist not to put any deposits. I have this kind of experience like few times already.
Okay. So back to Phil. One of my main questions that I have, and which I think is always a fear for now everyone, with technology moving so fast and the fakes and people making knockoffs and very similar products, how do you go about that in your business, and how do you guarantee it forward to the customer?
Sorry, you broke up for a second there. Do you mind repeating that question?
I just meant to say, like, how do you guarantee the authenticity of your products, and what is the processes that you follow? How do you compare with the new knockoffs that are coming out, which are like almost identical?
Sure. So in terms of gemstones, all the gemstones that we we supply and sell are certified. So a lot of people have heard of the GIA, the Gemological Institute of America, which is a very well-renowned certification organization, largely focused on diamonds, although they do other stones as well. In the colored gemstone sphere, most of our emeralds are certified by CD Tech, which is a Colombian laboratory based in Bogota. But some of the larger stones we ship to Switzerland, and there's people like SSEF and Gubelin laboratories certify them there. And gold and precious metals are hallmarked either in London or elsewhere. So there is a fairly well-trodden path in terms of guaranteeing the authenticity of precious metals and stones. But I think one of the issues in the industry, perhaps at the moment, is the rise in synthetic diamonds, and there's certainly a lot of worries about whether or not synthetic stones are going to be be substituted for, or the other way around, natural stones be substituted for synthetic stones in the supply chains. I know that's an issue that potentially blockchain and other solutions may help. But that is certainly an issue within the broader gemstone industry.
And Lorena, what are the processes that you follow while checking something is authentic, or a stone that you purchase? What is the process, just so anyone would understand, in your business?
Okay, my jewelry is quite different from classic jewelry. It's made out of natural materials like recycled bull horn, and we use sterling silver from here, and we use raw stones like raw emeralds, raw amethyst. I just got it on my partner. He bought it in Bogota. I bought it in Bogota as well, and they are raw stones. I mean, it's easy to know that they are not gonna do it in synthetic, anything like a raw stone. I know when it's, so my jewelry is very different. We don't have like gemstones, expensive gemstones. No, we don't do that. We try to work with natural materials and vintage pieces. We set it with a sterling silver. It's a different kind of jewelry. It's more like an accessory, I would say, because of the price points and the materials that we use.
What is your price points that you usually sell your products for? And maybe you could write your website on the chat box, so people can follow up with you as well. And same question to you. What are your price points? Sorry, excuse me. What are your price points? And maybe some pictures or some designs that the whole audience can see.
Okay, my price point is about $40 or $50 American dollars. So it's retailed for $80 or $100, something like that. So it's nothing really expensive. It goes, actually, we don't sell to jewelry stores. We sell to
costume jewelry.
boutique, costume jewelry, exactly. We sell to boutiques and that kind of retailers. Boutiques with fashion or design. I'm more into fashion, I would say.
And Phil, what about your price points, and who are the stores who are your target stores?
So our price point varies enormously. So, for example, we have a range of cufflinks, as you may be able to see there, silver cufflinks that are perhaps £100, $100, right through to bespoke engagement rings that are up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and everywhere in between. I would say probably our average customer, if there was such a thing, if they were looking for a bespoke engagement ring, would be between $5,000 and $15,000. That sort of ballpark. But as I say, we do have quite a wide price point depending upon what it is that we're supplying. So we do cater to quite a wide swathe of the market.
And do you feel that COVID has impacted your business? Has it impacted your business? What do you feel are the new opportunities now moving forward in the post COVID world? And this question is for both of you, Phil and Lorena.
I think that it has impacted it, but I would say that we were actually, because we're based in London and we have a very international target market. For a long time, we've been building up our digital channels. So we're very active on social media. We're very active in terms of our SEO and paid ads. So for a long time, we've been trying to really push the digital channels. So actually, this has just accelerated that process, and we're doing far more now remotely than we were before. But yeah, it's really sort of accelerated what we were already doing to start off with. But obviously, there has been some impact from the fact that we've lost a certain amount of face-to-face business. But it's actually the impact has been relatively small compared to businesses that have a lot of retail stores. We don't have any retail stores, so for us, it's not been too bad.
And do you sell a lot online as well? Is that?
We do, yeah. So we have an e-commerce channel, and we also do virtual consultations, and we engage with people online and walk them through a sales process remotely.
And Lorena, what about you? What about your business?
My business is being kind of quiet this year, because this past year, I mean, since 2002, because we basically made all businesses in person. So that is stopped, and my retailers are mostly like walk-ins. And so I would say it's been quiet, but it's more like I don't think the market is quiet at all. It's more like the type of customers that I had, they are known to online businesses, so they are being affected a lot. And so I have been waiting until they get used to this new way of doing business.
Now, the next question I have is social media. How important do you think it is for the business, and what are the steps that your company is taking, Phil? And what are the steps, Lorena, what are you taking with social media? I want to understand what is the way you're moving forward, and Phil, what are your plans?
Well, I've been working on social media recently, actually since last year, trying to do some content, but now what I have are mainly product shots and that kind of thing. But I'm trying to go ahead with this.
What kind of business is you resell, right?
Hi, would you like Brightway? Would you like to say something?
Yes, I would like to say something. I'm happy to be here.
Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria. I'm sorry I'm coming late. I just had another physical meeting in my office. That's what made me to be here late.
Wow. And what business do you do what business do you do?
I'm into clothing and accessories. I sell designers clothes.
Okay. And
modern accessories.
And what about jewelry? Are you doing a significant amount of jewelry as well?
Yes. Oh.
And is it more costume jewelry, or is it more real jewelry?
Somehow.
Okay. And so any ideas or any inputs can you give us about the business in your country? Has COVID impacted your business?
Yeah. In Nigeria, anyway, the lockdown really affected, especially most of us that runs business like fashion, because there was no movement and there was no way we could make some sales. And that brings to an innovation that we take in our country, like in my company here. It's really impacted positively and negatively. It's impacted positively because we were able to develop a website, which from the website and other social media, we started selling online instead of depending on the physical sales. So COVID-19 has impacted positively in that way. The only negative aspect was the movement, the restriction of movement. There was no movement. So people who could not access online, like people in rural places that could not place orders online due to so many reasons. In that other way, we're unable to, let's say, it shortened our sales. But quietly we are recovering.
Sorry to interrupt you. Sophia, I think Sophia would like to say something. Sophia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, how are you? Hello, everyone. I'm Sophia Davis. I'm from New York City, and we have 17 publications that we publish. We are fashion, and we have fashion from all sides. We have couture, we have accessories, we cover, street style as well as, luxury lifestyle. So I just wanted to throw that out to the panel to introduce myself and let them know I was here, and that although I'm not a jewelry designer or anything like that, I am a publication, and we're reaching over 770,000 people. We've been publishing about 15 years. We are digital and print. So I just wanted to throw that out there and say hello.
And just one more thing, Sophia has very good connections with the boutiques in New York. I remember from our last conversation. So I think Lorena, it would be a good reason to connect with Sophia. Phil, same way, because she's got ins with all the boutiques. She's been in the business. She's like, everyone knows her. Like when I speak to people in New York, they already know Sophia. It's so funny. So anyway, moving back to Phil, the question about social media. How are you taking it forward, and what are your steps?
Yeah, so we've been active on social media for a number of years now, almost since day one. Where we find, we've not had a huge amount of success in terms of selling through social media. But what we do find that it's very good for is building a story, and engagement. So we've found a lot of our customers have found us via social media and then have gone to our website and gone through some other process rather than directly buying through social media itself. So I think, it's very good at audience building, at building engagement with your target market. But as a direct sales tool, it may just be that the type of business we're in is much more relationship setting rather than impulse buying. So I think tends to be a bit more aligned to social media shopping. Or buying directly from it. I think it's definitely been good for us, and it's helped build our traction online, and we certainly found quite a few customers through it.
So I'm just thinking now, like how we could probably just connect, and what Fashionablyin does. So like Sophia is in New York, she's got the contacts. How would you now, Phil? Just give us a process. How would you pursue this now? Now you've got Sophia. She's a contact. She's connected with all the boutiques in New York. What would you do? Would you first send her your line sheets or your catalogs, or with the wholesale pricing? What is the process that you follow?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of interest in emeralds in New York. I think we supplied a number of stores there. So really, it's a case of reaching out. We tend to work at the higher end of the market. So in particular, we work on the higher end Colombian emeralds. So no oil and minor oil stone that collectors and fine jewelers are really looking for. So we could supply almost anything in terms of Colombian emeralds and related jewelry, bespoke jewelry. So really, it's a case of touching base and reaching out, and then building that relationship, so that then going forward, whenever there's a requirement for something that we specialize in, we can then fulfill that requirement very rapidly. But I say the US is our biggest single market, so it's very much on our radar as a primary sales channel.
So just to get to understand how you approach your customers and new clients. Now I'm just saying, what would you do first, both for Phil and Lorena? Do you send them a line sheet with a product catalog, with wholesale pricing, or how do you do it?
We tend to build a relationship. So we will reach out, make contact, and then fulfill requirements. So we tend to work to order. We do hold stock, but we don't tend to hold a vast inventory. So what we tend to do is work to order when a need arises for a particular product. But the key to it is building that relationship, so that when there's a requirement for something, the customer knows that we're there on hand to fulfill that order at very short notice.
So these are contacts that you find on LinkedIn and stuff like that you reach out to. Is it like a cold call that you do, or send an email? just so people understand, like maybe students or anyone who's watching this, or another entrepreneur who would want to learn from how you've got to where you are, what would you recommend is the best route?
A lot of it is word of mouth, and actually people introducing you to other people.
Yeah.
So that the networking process, I think, is far more effective than cold calling, especially in the area of the market that we operate in. It may be more effective at the lower end of the market, but certainly with our customers, I think virtually all of them have been either introduced to us or through somebody else or through a connection in some way, shape, or form.
You sometimes feel the need to engage with influencers as well, to be like a face of some of your products, because I'm not talking about jewelry right now, but I was selling a very high-end swim line to Selfridges some time ago, and they wanted to know who were the influencers, who were the people that were talking about the brand, where is it stocking right now? I mean, do you feel that that's important as well?
It is, yeah. We haven't done very much so far with influencers, but it is something that's on our radar. In particular, we're doing a lot more. We have a lady working for us who's Chinese, who's recently joined us. So we're trying to get into the Chinese market, and there's a lot of scope there for using influence on things like WeChat and some of the channels they have in the Far East. And that's a very, very strong route to market out there. So I think there's perhaps some cultural differences between different parts of the world, but yeah, I think influencers can be an effective method. But we're quite new at that particular line of marketing.
What about Lorena? What do you have to say about influencers and your approach to finding new customers?
Well, I did it the old way. I mean, like my background is in marketing. Actually, it's not designer. So when I started this business in 2004, I did it walking into the stores in New York. That way, I could see what was the kind of merchandise they sell. So in that way, I knew if they were going to be actually potential for me, because the kind of jewelry that I sell, I knew they might be or not interested. So after I did that personally, I did contact them with an email or a phone call or something like that, and then go to them with all the merchandise, and they will pick it up. So I was like a mobile showroom, because I have jewelry not just for me, for other Colombian designers. So that's the way I did it back then. And then I always, since I had that long process to select my customers, I always had reordering. I mean, I did it, and every season I have like 3 new customers, and the other was reordering. So
wow,
it was good.
So can you show us some of your? Do you have any of your products in front of you right now? Something that you could just show us?
Oh, give me a minute. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna get something from my inventory and I'll show you.
Okay, great. Okay, in the meantime, does anyone in the audience want to ask Phil or speak or say anything? Please raise your hand or just start speaking.
Hi, it's Sophia. I just wanted to jump in real quick and say that I understand the way they're contacting people. Another way could be that they can send things to what they call like a press showroom. Just, if they have garments or jewelry. And what happens at a press showroom, that is where all of the celebrities and influencers go to get garments for the red carpet or for shoots or for videos. They go to what is called a press showroom here in America. So if they have like a garment or something that they can kind of what you would say loan to the press showroom, when the person wears it and takes a picture, their name is there, that brand name is there. And, you know, people visit this, you know, all the time. Now, they don't get paid for it to put it in. And it may not per se be returned because they do hold it for a period of time. But, you know, it is a way of getting free publicity in a sense if they pick your garment.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I'd like to pursue that because that would certainly tie in well with the type of very high end products that we work with. So that's an area that we very much of interest to me.
Does anyone else want to say something? Please feel free to say something. Anyone want to ask a question? And we're going to move on to some other questions as well. So anybody out there? Vicky, yes, Vicky, how are you? Vicky, are you there? I think you got to unmute yourself. Maybe unmute yourself.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Hi. How are you?
Great, 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 great to see you. Always traveling the world.
Yes, always traveling the world. The fashion industry is really exciting.
So from today's discussion, any ideas, any thoughts, anything that you would like to share?
Basically, it's all about people. Okay, I was distracted. People trying to get new markets, penetrating new markets than they have been used to, the market that they are not used to.
Sigue tranquilo, en Londres y él me ha dado por preguntarme vainas.
¿Tú conocías esto? ¿Sí?
Adrian runs a fashion marketing. Okay, we'll get into that later when he can speak. But back to Phil. Okay, and Vicky, we're gonna get back to you because we couldn't hear you, so we're gonna get back. And Lorena, I see you're there.
Okay, I'm here. So like this one, this is a ring made out of horn, bush horn, recycled bush horn. And there is a vintage piece on top, it's a camel. So this is a ring that, I don't know how much it costs for wholesale, but it's about $30 or $20 or $35 probably. So
Great
this
pricing.
is one thing. Here is,
I said very
Hello?
good pricing, very good pricing.
Yeah, I try to be affordable. I like to sell a lot and not just one piece. And this is just a green crystal on sterling, and this is a recycled bull horn again. And this is also bull horn. Can you see there? It's a horn and have vintage pieces over here. So
Lorena, do you make all these pieces yourself, or do you have like a small mini workshop, or how do you get it made out, or do you outsource it?
Oh no, I just made the designs. I do the designs and I also get the pieces and the materials, and I have jewelers down here in Colombia. So they are actual jewelers. They do all the work. And so this is a vintage piece and it has pearls and I don't know what it is. Pearls, yeah, pearls and another stones over here. So this is they retail it like that, like a double, like I told you.
One question that when we get to the manufacturing process, which I'm asking you is, So when you sell to states like California and stuff, they have very stringent laws with California Prop 65 about the nickel and lead content in the jewelry. So how is that something that you monitor, and what is the process that you follow to abide by the laws of the nickel or the lead in the materials in the jewelry?
We just use sterling silver. We don't, I mean, that is, yeah, we don't use other metals at all.
Okay,
Just sterling silver.
Okay.
So that's the way I follow the rules.
And Philip, do you also only use silver and gold, or do you also use semi-precious metals as well?
We primarily use gold and platinum, occasionally silver, on one or two occasions palladium, but yeah, nearly always gold and platinum.
Okay, so back to Lorena. Anything else that you would like to tell us about your collection? Which are the markets that you would like to grow your business in? I definitely see the UK as a market for you, and
yeah,
I
want to sell in the UK.
You know,
look, and this is another thing. This is it's a vintage piece, and it have horn and it have tagua, which is a natural seed here from Colombia. So these are the designs, and I just gotta set it down with a jeweler. Yeah, I would like to sell in Europe. I used to sell in France, but just that stopped. So yeah, I want to do online business. So I don't want to do walk-ins anymore.
When you were selling to your customers in France and stuff, how did you get those customers? Did you go to trade shows, or was it a word of mouth, or what was the process of how did you grow your business worldwide?
Okay. I went there and I find out who was the customer that I have to take care of, and then I went to another neighborhood. I mean, I provide exclusivity mostly, so I just get one or two customers in a neighborhood and then go to the other. And so I'm a small company, so I try to do things myself, and I'm good on marketing. So I do it my way.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous what you're doing, and the jewelry that you have. I'm extremely impressed. You know, and
thank you very much.
And so, moving back to Janet, would you like to add anything, since you seem to be the most experienced out of all of us over here? You'll have to unmute.
No, not really. I just find it quite interesting to see people making jewelry in other countries, and haven't heard much from the lady in Greece, actually. I was waiting to hear what she does, please, from Christy. And to hear what other people's experiences are, because it's been quite a quiet period here in the UK of learning anything from other people.
So would anybody else like to say anything or share their thoughts? Feel free. Does anybody want to say anything or want to talk about their company, or would like to connect with any of the people over here?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I want to know, do we have manufacturers here, like in Italy or Turkey? Because my company, they buy more in Turkey and Italy. So I would like to know if we have any of the manufacturer here, in any way we can connect to them.
Definitely.
Buying from.
If you put your contact details, if you just write your contact details on the chat and what you're looking for, one of our team members will connect you with the right person, you know?
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I see Laura Lobdell. Would you like to say something? Vicky, would you like to say something? Should we get back to you now? And then after that, I'm going to get back to Phil with the last bit of questions that I have.
Yeah, because I'm going to be rushing. I'm going to be excusing myself for another meeting just now.
Yes.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is basically what I've realized is many people are looking at the European market, Asian market, but not many people consider Africa. And for a long time, many people have been looking in Europe, Asia, Australia, and missing out on the market that Africa can give. And it's really unfortunate because mainly with Africa, we don't deal with credit cards. That's one thing that many designers in Europe miss out about Africa, because most people in Europe, they use credit cards and all that to do shopping. But something unique about African market is mainly we are a cash market.
Sophia, just to get Sophia said something. Sophia, please go ahead.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is I wanted to let the people that are in Africa know that I'm interested in connecting with them, because we have a publication, Fashionablyin News Africa, and we have a young lady that is a supermodel in, I'm going to say, I'm probably saying it wrong, Fasos, F-A-S-O or F-A-S-C-O. And we've worked with her before. I like to bring, the African culture and stuff to the American market, but I definitely need a contact there to, see the fashions, the jewelry, whatever they have. And we can do we can place the editorials in, our publications.
So, Mr. Brightway, what is your name? I think you've raised your hand.
My name is Ferdinand.
Okay, Ferdinand. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
So you would like to say something?
Yeah, it was what I asked in the first place. That was what I raised my hand.
Okay. Okay. Just to get to Laura, I just want to understand. Laura, are you there? Laura Lobdell?
Yes, I'm here.
And so great to have you here. Can you tell us more about your company and a little more about what you do in the jewelry space?
I'm a designer and have had a retail store in New York for 12 years until COVID. So really looking at things differently and doing things, of course, online. We've done a few in-person events and trunk shows outside of New York and in places like Texas and Florida, and just kind of trying to figure it all out, I guess. But it's really a jewelry line about celebration and precious metal, but it's, I guess, a bit conceptual and all handmade.
Sorry, a little off topic. Do you think the new administration is better for the economy, and you think things are going to change, or do you think it's going to, are there going to be more lockdowns?
I think there's a lot of concern around the lockdowns as a possibility. It definitely feels as an observation that the states here in America with more freedom have a better outcome, and certainly that's true for their economies. And it hasn't impacted the health rates, which is very, very interesting. But states here are each one is very different. So it's hard to, make exact comparisons because each situation is quite unique. In terms of the overall economics, I mean, I know that for me, the last 4 years were more successful economically than the previous 8. So, I think business does better when there's more freedom, but it's always mixed.
So what changes have you done? First, can you tell us more about your jewelry? What are the price points? Where do you sell to? And what are the changes that you have done in your business post-COVID?
So for me, the price points in sterling silver are very different from gold, and that's a big distinction. So most of the sterling silver pieces, you know, are under 500. They, you know, there's some for 198. This is in US, and some at 98, but really most like the 248 to 498 is a strong silver price point for us in the gifting category as well. Then the gold is, especially with the run up of gold of the last year and a half, that's really been impactful on prices. I tried to not raise prices going into holiday at the end of 2019, but I have had to raise prices just because the gold has gotten so, you know, I just couldn't absorb that. And so the prices for that, it's in the, you know, 1,000 and up.
Are you outsourcing your manufacturing, or are you getting it done locally in New York?
We did everything in New York for a long time. I'm a trained metalsmith. My background is fine art. So I make, you know, I know how to make things, and I love making things. One of the disappointing changes for me in terms of post-COVID is that they actually shut down the workshops, locked us, you know, out of the buildings themselves. So even if you were a artisan working alone, you couldn't access your studio. So I have looked now to other states for manufacturing. Some things are still like, I love working with New York and, you know, doing that, but just there's been a little bit of a shift from manufacturing location, and that's been really challenging to do it remotely.
So would you ideally move to somewhere like Rhode Island, or would you move overseas completely to like India, China, or the East? How would you do? How would you go in your business?
You know, I have I love India. It's actually why I started to make jewelry for my first visit there years ago. But I feel like it's nice as a designer, and especially because of my background in making things, I like things to be more immediate. The lead times and control of quality and communication, I think, are more challenging. I have worked in my personal, you know, business life as, you know, jobs for other people, overseeing production.
When you said lead time, just sorry to interrupt you, what quantity do you do? Like when you say, do you make like 50 pieces of style, 100, 500? How do you plan your collection?
So that's a great question. It's determined by the metal. We do a lot of personalization, especially in the gold. So I don't need to do a big inventory in gold. For silver, we do like runs of 50 or so, and maybe bump up a bit for a holiday. And that's seems to work pretty well. Because again, there is a bit of, we engrave things and personalize things, even in the silver. So, you know, I don't do, some of the things are just, you know, made to order in either metal.
Okay, so just moving back to Phil, can you tell us more about, are yours all one-of-a-kind pieces, or do you produce in quantity as well? And what is your take in the personalization segment or moving? Because I feel that jewelry somewhere personalized is one of the, like, not only jewelry, like even I went to the Coach store the other day. I bought a small wallet and they personalized the wallet with my initials, which was very nice. And where do I have it here? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's very nice. But my point being is personalization. What is your take on the whole personalization thing with jewelry?
Yeah, it's so interesting. There's been a massive increase in bespoke engagement rings. In the UK, they're now around 50% of all engagement rings. So there's a massive drive towards that. We actually do both. So nearly all of our engagement rings are actually bespoke. However, we do have ranges of, for example, cufflinks and wedding rings and certain other items that we sell off the shelf. So we do have a mixture. But yeah, there's definitely been, in the 7 years that we've been in business, in particular, there's been a dramatic shift towards bespoke. And I think that, you know, customization, personalization has become a major driver in that. And for example, as you mentioned there, people initialing and engraving items has become much more popular. over recent years. And I think that's fed into the growth of colored gemstones, because people see those as less common versus diamonds. So there's definitely been a shift towards color as well, but which again is seen as being individualistic, and certainly the younger generations more of a unique proposition.
Yes.
So Laura, just a quick question. Can you just tell us, I want to get to Lorena and Laura, both of you all, same question. Laura, first, can you tell us what is your best selling piece of jewelry?
Our hero is the Champer's ring.
And what is that retail for?
In silver, it's 8, gold, it's 40.
Sorry, I think you just got a little cut off. Can you say those numbers again?
Sterling silver, 498.
Okay.
Gold, 4,200.
So this is the retail price at a store?
Yes.
And your website and the store has the same retail price?
100%. And we never put things on sale.
Okay, fine. And then when you give the stores, this is just for understanding. So someone else who's got a jewelry brand or someone else could learn from this. What is the markup that so when you give it to the store, is it a ×2 that they would sell it to? Is it a ×3? Or sometimes I see in jewelry, like we were discussing earlier, sometimes it's even a ×5. What is it in your case?
We do Keystone, which is a double.
Okay, great. And okay, so one last thing, it's time up, it's already 5 o'clock, it's gone so fast. But so just, I don't mind being here for a few more minutes. Does anyone else want to say something? Please, everyone, leave your details on the chat. Does anyone want to connect with anyone over here? Please feel free right now. This is your chance. Don't be shy. And any last words of wisdom? Lorena, some last words of wisdom from you?
Words of wisdom from me? I think we have to keep moving. We have to change according to the times and get adjusted. And what is new is always the best. So I would say that is what I think about the future. Everything is going to change, and we have to get adjusted with it and get an advantage of everything we can. And I'll be happy to connect with anyone interested on my line of jewelry. I want to go worldwide. I don't want to be only in the US. And that would be it. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and all the time that you guys gave me talking over here. So thank you so much.
So Lorena, you must connect with Sophia. Sophia, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I want to throw something in too real quick. Just for the people that, this might not be for the higher end jewelry people, but maybe someone that's, has a lower end brand as far as price wise, you can always do a live sale on social media. And for the higher end brands, you can always do like a short video and send it to Beyonce and send it to, any influencer. You can send that on Instagram, and they literally look at it. I mean, I sent Beyonce something and they liked it, and she liked it. Now, she didn't buy it, but she liked it. I was very happy. So all I'm saying is, I think we need to look outside of the box of just the regular way that we do things now, because you can take your phone and make a video and then send it to people. Don't wait for someone or wait for something to open, because right now we're on lockdown. We have to pivot and do something else.
Yeah.
Okay, just moving to Mr. Adrian Mutti. Adrian Mutti is a very good friend of Fashionablyin and ours. He has been hosting our show in London for the last few years at the Courthouse Hotel in Soho. So great to see Mr. Adrian here. He also runs a very successful distribution company and a very interesting website where they distribute brands, mainly in the fashion space and jewelry as well. So Adrian, please, you're on the spot.
Okay, I was going to start off by saying, can everybody hear me? It's those famous Zoom words, isn't it, these days? My wife says that to me all the time, and I still don't answer. But there you go. Thanks, Taryn. It's good to join you all, and nice to meet everybody from all these international places. It's so very exciting. It's so very exciting to speak and hear people from as far overseas as we all are. I'm based here in London, not far from Taryn, I think, unless you're overseas, Taryn, at the moment. I don't know. Maybe you're back here in the UK. In a nutshell, what I'm interested in, my company is called The Secret Fashion Network, and we trade online under the name of SFN Shop. You can just see that in my name there. And what I'm looking for, we're a relatively new company. We're offering, if you like, independent upcoming brands an opportunity to help get them online in a multi-store environment. If anyone's interested in perhaps selling in the UK that you're not at the moment and just want a bit of a hand with a platform, it doesn't cost anything. I'd be really interested in pinging you further information and giving you a bit more detailed information and heads up. I'm not going to go into detail here, it's not the right place. But if anyone in the nutshell is interested in trying to get their brand sold in the UK and is able to ship to the UK in small quantities, okay, or on an order per order basis, then I would love to hear from you, because we are building new suppliers weekly right now, and it would be fabulous to get some internationals like you guys coming, especially in the jewelry space, where we've got one from a big jewelry company at the moment, but we could do with some independence. Anyway, that's me, Taryn. Thanks for letting me have a little chat there with everyone. You know, hope to see you again at the next webinar soon. I can't hear you, Taryn.
I just wanted to add one thing. I just want to add one thing, that the one thing that I really like about the jewelry business, and the most exciting thing that I like the most, is the size and the shipment costs are so, you know, I mean, compared to someone who's doing furniture, think of it like that, you know, you got something that you can quickly ship. It's easy to ship. And I just feel,
I don't know, you haven't seen my wife's earrings that she bought, have you?
So, Mr. Phil, any last words of wisdom? And I'm sorry, before you go ahead, is Onika, are you there? Onika, I just wanted to get Onika on. And then Phil, your last words of wisdom to conclude. Yeah, Onika, please, go ahead. You got to unmute yourself. Just, yeah, unmute. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing? Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I'm an up-and-coming fashion designer, and I do jewelry and nails, and I'm actually Beyonce's second cousin.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. And I was listening to the lady speak. If she wants to connect, I can talk to my dad, because him and Beyonce's mother is really close. They're first cousins.
Wow.
So if anybody want to connect, I can help them, because I'm her cousin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great to have you here. And where are you based in America right now?
I live in Louisiana.
Okay, wow. And what's happening with, I mean, I don't want to talk about the political situation in America, but I'm guessing you're happy with the change, right?
Not really, you know, it kind of slowed my business up, and I have a lot of people that I'm connected in the industry. I'm friends with a makeup artist that works with the Kardashians. I have a friend, she also does makeup work with Vogue and Victoria's Secret and stuff like that.
Interesting. So Onika, I know you're a part of our Fashionablyin network, and I'm so glad that you've come up here. Leave your contact details so people can connect with you. And now I think we've gone over time, but just finally, Phil, does anyone else want to say something?
I had a question about the Brexit shipping. I just shipped an order yesterday to the UK, and it looks like the regulations for collecting taxes to clients is different.
Phil, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, and the rules have changed very, very recently. We mostly export out of the UK rather than into it, so I'm not too familiar with that. with what's actually happening on that front at the moment. But yeah, I think there have been a few delays. It hasn't been as bad as we thought it might be. So it could have been a lot worse. But I think there may be some ups and downs over the next few months.
So everyone, thank you all for being here. It was a fabulous session. Once again, we at Fashionablyin, we organize trade shows and we do a lot of virtual shows as well. All our shows are free. If you want to connect with actual buyers or connect with sales agents, then you can get in one of our packages. Just before I go, Carola, is that you? Would you like to say something?
No, I actually got very late because I received email very late. So I'm actually just trying to get into the conversation, but probably it's over now. So
no problem,
next one.
No problem. Why don't you tell us, are you in the jewelry business? Something quick you want to just share with us?
More fashion apparel, but I'm starting to get in a little bit more jewelry. So that's why I was actually interested in this. So I think I missed it for this.
No problem. Leave your contact details on the thing, and we'll
okay.
You, yeah. Okay. Anyone else want to say something? And then Phil, you're going to conclude with the last words of wisdom.
Sure, yeah, I'd like to sort of end on a positive note. I think that certainly since Christmas, we've seen a big increase in inquiries coming through. So I think there's a lot of pent-up demand, and I think that this year will actually be a lot better than last year. I think there's a lot to be very optimistic about going forward.
I hope so too. We're just hoping that we can start our event again. Adrian, I just hope we're back on live stage again, you know. And anyway, thank you again. We at Fashionablyin, we connect everybody. And if you want to find out more about our services, please feel free to contact me. We do connect companies directly with buyers, directly with agents. We organize virtual shows. And like I mentioned, with the pure aim to connect business to business, you know, B2B trade and global business, because our business today is completely, truly global, you know. And thank you all for being here. And it was great to see people from all over the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.